are back here. News Talk, 95.1 FM, 790 AM. This is KFYO Mornings with Matt and Dave. And it is Thursday, and that means one thing. At 7:35, that means that Jerry's on line one. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, fellas. How are you?
Your Car Pro Jerry Reynolds, and I'm noticing the pictures you sent this morning show that you're driving a Mercedes and a Jeep.
Double duty this week, yes.
Well, I got a question for you.
Go right ahead.
I am a Jeep fan. I had a Jeep when I was in high school, but now this was the old military Jeep.
Right.
And I'm guessing that the Jeeps today are a lot different than those. But that is it a Rubicon? Is that what you're driving?
Yes, the Wrangler Rubicon.
And it makes my heart beat a little faster when I see those on the street. I really do like the looks of them. But I'm wondering, I'm a Highlander man.
Yes.
I'm guessing that Jeep is a lot different than my Highlander.
Oh, yeah, it is. But I got to tell you guys, the changes they made to the Wrangler in 2018 when they completely redid the thing, and it came out late, so the 2018s only ran about 6 months, and then 2019s came out. Now we got the 2020s out. Nothing really has changed since 2018, but I got to tell you, these things, I was surprised how well this thing drove, how much better the ride is than they used to be, how much smoother and quieter inside it was. I mean, these things were really quite primitive for a long, long time. And when they made all the changes in 2018 and they put a lot of the latest electronics in it, navigation system, USB ports, things that typically you wouldn't get on a Jeep, you can get those now. And at the same time, they really didn't change the fact that you can configure these things so many different ways. This one's got a 3-piece hardtop. You can pull off all of it. You can take the doors off still. You can fold the windshield back and have a completely topless Jeep if that's what you want. Or you can just take the front section off and have open air right above the driver and passenger in the front. But the difference in the ride and drive was pretty remarkable. The other thing that they did was, the one I'm testing, it's got a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine with a turbo. And it was a surprise to me how well it performed. I was a big fan of the Pentastar V6 that was in the Wrangler for so long. And now you've got an option with this 4-cylinder. And I'm telling you, if I were going out in the market today and to buy one of these, it would be the 4-cylinder.
Oh.
It's got 275 horses, and when you get on this thing and that turbo kicks in, it'll pin you to the seat.
Well, now, and, of course, that Jeep is not all that heavy, is it?
No, it's really not. Yeah. It's about 4,000 pounds. I mean, by today's standards of SUVs, it's not heavy. This is the 4-door, so you get some weight there because it's got a longer wheelbase, and I think that's one of the reasons it rides and handles so well.
What is it like? What is it like going down the highway? Cross country?
It's really nice. I mean, the old Jeep prior to 2018, it was loud. You'd get a lot of wind noise. It was quite bouncy. This one is not that way. And I said it in my review when I was writing it up. For years on the air, I told people this is not at least for me, this would not be a daily driver. Well, that's all changed now. I could drive this thing every single day and enjoy it. And I think most people are going to find that. And the last 2 years of sales for the Wrangler have been the best 2 in its history. So apparently America is responding.
Yeah, and that's what the number one question I was going to ask was about road noise, because I think you had said that was the big downside, was you knew you were in a Jeep because you could hear it as you were driving down the road.
Yes, they just weren't tight. And this one is. I got no road noise at all. You can easily listen to you guys on the radio when you're going down the highway. It's amazingly quite enjoyable. And I always warned people, hey, if you have never had a Wrangler before, I would suggest you go rent one for a weekend and see if it's for you, because I have seen a lot of people over the years that bought them, and then, a week later they're like, oh, my goodness, what did I do? They're different. But this one, I'm telling you, this new model, I think it would please anybody. Tremendous amount of back seat room, lots of headroom. The cargo area is good in the back, and yet you've still got that. You've got that Jeep heritage there that they did not get away from. They just made improvements. Very impressive.
Well, in the one you're driving, it looks like it is a hard top, but it can be removed.
The whole thing, yeah.
Okay.
You can remove it, and it comes out in 3 pieces.
Because I would just think that the hard part with a Jeep is getting either the rag top or the hard top to seal in good enough to keep that noise out.
Yeah, and I'm gonna guess this one has never had the top off. I certainly didn't take it off. It's a 2-person job, but they've got a roof now that is cloth on top but hard on the sides, and the whole thing slides back. That's the roof that I had when I had the Renegade, the Wrangler pickup, probably 6 months ago. And it's power, and it slides back, and you get that same open air feeling for all the occupants, front and rear. And for me, that would be the way to go, because I don't think that you'd ever have then to deal with, is it going to seal on right? But I tell you what, the bolts, and it comes with a wrench to take the top off, but the bolts in this thing are huge. I really think you could torque it down and not get that wind noise that Jeeps were, and rain and water when it rains or when you go to the car wash. I think you could torque this thing down and keep it tight.
Okay, well, Jerry, I'll tell you what. If you have time, then you were actually in a Mercedes as well. We could take a quick break and come back and talk about a Mercedes if you would like.
That would be great. I love this car.
All right, excellent. So, Jerry, we're going to put you on hold, and we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about the 2020 Mercedes CLS 53 AMG. Anytime you see an AMG, I'm always curious.
And we are back with the Car Pro Jerry Reynolds on line one. Now, we've had a couple of texters this morning, Jerry. One says, love my Jeep 2017 Sahara 4-door. And we have another texter that says, tell Jerry to get his hands on a new Duramax diesel. Now, I don't know what they're talking about. Do you?
Yes, I do. And the new 2020 Chevy and GMCs are out now, and I suspect I'll have one before long. They've been really selling well. I mean, sales on those 3/4 ton, 1-ton trucks are through the roof right now. And I think part of it's the good economy and construction business has been really good. But yes, tell the person that I will get my hands on a Duramax before long. I've enjoyed every one I've ever had.
Well, and then one other thing, and I know that you probably are going to have a harder time with this one, but the Toyota Supra, I'm dying to know how well it is, how good it is, because I heard they've been selling very well, have they not?
Oh yeah, and the market price on them is way over sticker price.
Yeah.
Yes, we will have a review up on the Supra later today.
Oh wow!
And about a 10-minute video. I mean, this car is really something special. Just a rocket. It's the entire interior is done by BMW. BMW and Toyota corroborated on this vehicle. And, I mean, it's pretty much all Toyota on the outside, but it's all BMW on the inside. Mm-hmm. And it's, for a car that stickers around $55,000 completely loaded, I think this car, because they're going to keep the production numbers low, I think this car is going to be real valuable someday.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, some of the older ones can be even today, especially the 90s models right before they stopped. So,
yeah, they bring big money at Mecum and Barrett Jackson, and if one's in pristine condition. We had a red one with an automatic transmission, which is the only way they come. And I tell you, the aerodynamics of this car are just amazing when you look at the top, the way it's configured, and then the big spoiler on the back. You'll see. It'll be up later today.
All right. It sounds good. I'll be looking forward to that. Also, now you had, because we missed you last week, you've had two. The other one was a Mercedes. Tell us about the CLS 53 AMG.
Oh, it's a beast. I mean, any AMG is going to have a hand-built engine, and they just maximize the horsepower in these things. This one is 449 horses. The car itself, though, is just spectacular. Matter of fact, I've got a lease coming up at the end of July, and I would say at this point, this is probably my next car to go on a 3-year lease, just because it's so comfortable. The seats are nothing short of amazing, and they massage you, and I mean, it's a real massage. The bolsters on each side, if you go into a turn, it mechanically moves depending on how hard a turn you're taking. So if you're taking a right-hand turn, your left bolster will come around and snug you into the seat. It's pretty amazing. This car's got so many features and so much technology.
Now wait a minute. You telling me this car will give you a massage as you're going down the highway?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, isn't that a little dangerous? I mean, I usually go to sleep if I'm getting a massage.
Well, you could go to sleep, and I promise you that. It's these seats, the front seats for both the driver and the passenger, are just so comfortable. And the massage, you can make it a really hard massage, or you can make it a soft massage. There's like 5 different settings on it. It's got ambient lighting everywhere, and you can change to over 100 different colors. And it's fun at night when you're messing with that, trying to figure out what color you like the best.
No.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, because I know we're running out of time again, but you mentioned something that I just want to ask you about, because I know a lot of people, they have this question, should I lease or should I buy? And you were talking about leasing. So why would you personally lease versus buy or purchase the car?
Well, cars are going to depreciate, and if you can lease a car like I do, my personal car doesn't get driven very much. I've got a 2017 Maserati now that's 2.5 years old that hasn't even turned 4,000 miles. So for me, it's not taking that depreciation loss. The payments are a fraction of what they are, if you go out and purchase. And, anything that depreciates, I think, unless you're a high-mileage driver, that leasing is the way to go. I've got a whole section on leasing at my website under the FAQ page for that reason. I mean, leasing's not for everybody.
Yeah, probably that's a question better ask your CPA, isn't it?
Well, and there are tax implications. Certainly there are for me. It makes more sense to, for my quote-unquote company car to be leased than purchased. But really, it's about saving money. And for some people, it's saving money. For others, it's getting a nicer car than what you could normally afford on a purchase. And today, with people going 6 and 7 years on a car, when you look at the amount of interest you pay, it's absorbent, even though interest rates are low. It's just, that's a long loan for a car. And leasing is great for some people. For others, it doesn't work as well. But I explain all that in detail. I've got one article that's titled, "Is Leasing Right for You?" And the big thing is mileage.
Well, Jerry,
if you're a high-mileage driver, don't lease.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn. And we do want to remind everybody that the Car Pro is on live here every Saturday, right here on this station, KFYO, from 11 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. And then the CarProUSA.com. A lot of information there for you.
Yeah, and don't miss are you going to have, I guess the 2 cars we talked about today are going to be on Monday?
Yeah, they'll be up on Monday.
The new Toyota Supra article is going to be up today.
It'll be up today with a video and a gal. I had my gal do the Supra.
Yeah.
Okay. Jerry, we've got to run. We're up against the clock, bud.
All right. Thanks, Jerry.
Bye-bye.